Route 66 in Search of Ghosts and Treasures, Chapter 7, Arizona. Read by the author Phyllis Chandler Gray. We're now in Arizona with the Harris family. We'll cross 388 miles of Route 66. We all cheered as the Welcome to Arizona sign appeared. Dad had given the backseat crew a state map and had taught us to use the scale of miles. Lottie was using the width of his index finger to measure, and he estimated that we had about 400 miles of the state. Dad had been a history teacher in his early years, and this trip really gave him a chance to strut his stuff. He informed us that the railroad had helped open the West and that Route 66 often followed the tracks which had followed the early trails. He added that many of the towns were named for railroad officials. Lupton was our first stop. Dad told us we were on the Navajo Indian Reservation, which surrounds Lupton. Chief Yellow Horse Trading Post was full of Native American crafts and souvenirs. The Yellow Horse statue and the animal statues on the bluff behind the store delighted Rose. We passed through many whistle stops with just a building or two. Sanders, Chambers, and Navajo were behind us, and ahead was the Petrified Forest National Park. Lottie had learned at school that 225 million years ago, water had covered forests and the trees lay in the sediment. They were unable to decay the normal way with oxygen. Instead, minerals from the water filled the soft areas inside the bark and solidified, forming stone in the shape of tree trunks. The painted desert surrounded the petrified forest. Mom loved the colors of the many layers of soft pastel rocks. I thought the giant stone tree trunks were awesome. Holbrook at last. Grandma had always talked about having slept in a wigwam. Our wigwam was bigger than it looked from outside, and Dinah was right at home, parked at this golden treasure. We poked around Holbrook looking for two places Grandma had sketched in her journal, the Navajo Motel and the Plainsman Coffee Shop. Both were ghosts. Even the signs had vanished. There's another one of those rabbits, noted Rose as we headed out of Holbrook. It says, "Here it is." Lottie chimed in, "Nice job reading, little sis. I wonder what it is." Near Joseph City, we found the end of the rabbit trail to be the Jack Rabbit Trading Post. Grandma's parents had bought her a pair of turquoise-colored moccasins at this stop. "I just love the smell of the leather and the beat it, Thunderbird," she wrote. We left with 5 pairs of moccasins, house shoes for everyone. Dad drove us to Geronimo's Trading Post so that we could see more giant stumps of petrified wood on display. Mom pulled a 1957 postcard from the treasure box, and it had a note on the back, but it wasn't Grandma's handwriting. Men's elk-hide mocks, $7.95, tax 24 cents. We guessed that Great-Grandpa had been shopping for moccasins too. Winslow was our next stop. Grandma's treasure box had a postcard from the famous Fred Harvey restaurant, La Posada. She wrote that Mr. Harvey's restaurants were the best in the West and the decorating was out of this world. Mom said that she was referring to the famous Mary Coulter architecture and hacienda-style decorating. We dined there, and Mom commented on the server's apron, which Mom said was like Judy Garland wore in Harvey Girls. Lottie, Rose, and I were clueless about Mom's favorite old stars and movies. In downtown Winslow, we found a park celebrating the 1972 Eagles hit Take It Easy. The song included the line "Standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona." A statue of a troubadour stands on the corner across from a mural illustrating another line from the song, "A girl, my lord, in a flatbed Ford." Meteor City was a bump in the road with a trading post. We had planned to buy fool's gold there, gold pyrite that looks like real gold. Sadly, we found a locked door in a ghosting building. We stopped at the amazing Meteor Crater. It was 550 feet deep and a mile in diameter. Grandma's journal revealed that she had known about the Meteor Crater before her family stopped in 1957. A story in her weekly reader at school taught her that an asteroid had hit here 50,000 years ago, leaving this deep hole in the earth. Dad laughed as he recounted our great-grandfather's story of not wanting to stop at the crater. He thought it was a tourist trap. He changed his mind because of her weekly reader. A local guide told us of Remy Jim. Remy was a local business owner and crater guide in the 1930s. He was also quite a jokester. Remy carried a 6-shooter and claimed to have a cemetery for salesmen who bothered him. Dad commented that Remy's ghost was probably winking at us to let us know that he was spinning a tale. 11 miles out of Winslow, we found 2 giant arrows rising from the pavement. Twin Arrows Trading Post once stood here with a cafe and service station. We passed Winona, a small town made famous by a very big song, Get Your Kicks on Route 66. The San Francisco peaks and the smell of pine trees proclaimed, Dad, I love Flagstaff. We felt the air becoming cooler, and Dad put the top up on Dinah. The old road ran through the historic railroad district past a 1925 train depot. Grandma had a postcard showing the Santa Fe Super Chief pulling into the station. Always wanted to ride this train, wrote Grandma. Dad said that the Santa Fe Super Chief was the favorite of the Hollywood stars who rode it from Chicago to Los Angeles. This was before the advent of affordable commercial airline travel. Years later, the railroad discontinued this streamlined passenger-only service. Dad said he loved the red and yellow war bonnet design. I told Brother Lottie that we had found a ghost train. We passed a log cabin nightclub started in 1936. The Museum Club, a golden treasure, was still going strong. Our next search was for the Spur Motel, owned by great-grandma's cousins, Mildred and Chester Dorr. They had left Missouri after World War II to open this motel. The Spur's original brick building was still standing, but the remarkable neon sign had vanished into ghosthood. Grandma had stayed in the owner's apartment behind the front desk in 1957. She wrote in her journal that she woke up several times when latecomers rang the night bell. The next morning we boarded the train for the Grand Canyon in nearby Williams. Our hour ride was filled with snacks and entertainment. The canyon was an awesome golden treasure. On the return, bandit actors stopped the train for a robbery. We ate in Williams at Rod's Steakhouse because Grandma loved it in 1957. Her journal mentioned getting a souvenir menu shaped like a steer. We left with 3 souvenir steers. In downtown Williams, Mom wanted to visit the Turquoise Teepee to see their selection of turquoise jewelry. The Native Americans call the turquoise sky stone and say it brings luck and good health. The medicine men carry it in their healing bags. Dad bought Mom a turquoise and silver ring for their 14th anniversary. At Sligman, we met Angel Delgadillo, the barber who saved his town. When Route 66 was replaced by a new interstate highway, businesses on the old road died. Angel convinced the state to mark the original highway as historic Route 66 and attract the people back. Angel started the movement to mark historic Route 66 and saved many towns. Angel told us he was interviewed by John Lasseter of Disney Pixar, who fashioned the town of Radiator Springs after Sligman in the movie Cars. The snowcap was started by Angel's jokester brother Juan. The family had a Ted Drew's bumper sticker on their funny car parked outside the ice cream shop. Onward, Dad commented that there were mines for copper, silver, and turquoise in the mountains nearby. Dad told us that Truxton was named for the son of trailblazer Edward Fitzgerald Beale, who marked the old trail through Arizona in 1857 for the U.S. Army Corps of Topographical Engineers, using mules, horses, and camels. Dad mused that Beale would have had no idea how much fun the future cars and motorcycles would have on his trail 100 years later. We stopped at the general store at Hackberry. Bob Waldmeyer had transformed it into a visitor center and loaded it with funky, kitschy curiosities. New owners welcomed us, and we were pleased to see that they had continued to breathe life into this once ghosted store and historic homestead. In Kingman, we visited the historic Route 66 Association of Arizona's Powerhouse Visitor Center. Our family liked the Steinbeck Room honoring the Grapes of Wrath, the best-known book about the 1930s migration along Route 66 from Oklahoma to California during the Dust Bowl days. With Kingman behind us, we headed toward the Black Mountains. Soon Dinah started climbing the steep Gold Hill and rounding what Dad called hairpin turns. Dad said that in the 1920s, cars often had to be towed over the Sitzgrave Pass. These early cars lacked fuel pumps. We passed the entrance to the Gold Road Mine and the relics of the ghost town of Goldman. We descended into Oatman, a gold mine town that refused to die after the 1915 mine stopped producing. Mom said this town once had thousands of residents and today had less than 150. We joined the tourists lining the street to see a mock gunfight. Actors were everywhere and all of Oatman seemed like a movie set. Dad said it was no surprise that How the West Was Won had been filmed here. We stopped at Fast Fanny's place to shop for souvenirs. We found the perfect book written by the owner. It had Oatman history for Dad, recipes for Mom and Rose, and ghost stories for Lottie and me. We parked near the Oatman Hotel, which was now just a restaurant. We enjoyed the burgers and chili. Mom said that in the hotel days, 2 of Grandma's favorite movie stars, Clark Gable and Carol Lombard, had honeymooned here. As we were leaving, Dad told us that Grandma's journal said that the family didn't stay at the hotel because it was haunted by a ghost named Odie. Outside, we discovered the wild burros who come out of the hills each day. Dad said the miners left them behind generations ago. Mom handed us alfalfa packets to feed them. We headed toward Tupac and crossed the bridge over the Colorado River, leaving Arizona. Months after their road trip, the Harrises read that the Painted Desert Trading Post that they were unable to see because of its inaccessibility and the near collapse of the building had radically changed. A group of Route 66 preservationists purchased the land occupied by the trading post and organized work crews to fortify the structure and give it another 50 years of life. They surrounded this holy grail with a strong fence and a gate with a computerized locking system for visitors. For an update on the trading post, go to Facebook, Route 66 Painted Desert Trading Post. There you'll learn about the lock. Visit Jackrabbit Trading Post on Facebook and Tony will make you a customized mileage sign to your door. This book is available at Amazon.com or at select museums and gift shops along Route 66.